Known for many significant accomplishments and roles throughout his life, Jefferson is considered one of the most important people of American history. His passions and rationale led a nation to independence and changed the early colonists' view of education. He believed in education was something that every citizen was entitled to and that they needed. Today, the United States of America and much of the whole world holds that same belief. Jefferson made learning personal and considered it a responsibility of the parent to guide the education of one's child. Jefferson's works have inspired me and changed my views as a future parent and teacher. I believe Jefferson was an influential figure on the educational system in the USA and the understanding global society has about the importance of education. Born in Shadwell, Albemarle County, Virginia, in 1743, Jefferson became the heir of a large fortune presented by his mother, Jane Randolph, the daughter of one of the most prestigious families in Virginia, and his father, Peter Jefferson, a successful surveyor. Jefferson had acquired a deep love for books, as his father and had 3 large libraries in his lifetime, one of which burned down. In 1772, Jefferson married Martha Wales Skelton, who died just after 10 years of marriage. During their marriage, Martha Jefferson gave birth to 8 children, only 2 of them surviving to adulthood. Jefferson never remarried and focused completely on his professional life. Jefferson sought to follow the example his father left him and fully applied himself for a reputable education. He studied at both English and Latin schools, then continued on to William and Mary College. Jefferson graduated in 1762 and began to practice law. Jefferson's studies and practice of law later led to his service as a local government magistrate, county lieutenant, and member of the House of Burgesses. In 1776, Jefferson headed a committee tasked by the Virginian government to rewrite the laws of Virginia. Most important to him was a bill for the more general diffusion of knowledge, which focused on education. Jefferson was among the first to join George Washington's Radical Bloc Party in support of independence from England. Jefferson was voted by Virginians to represent their colony in the Second Continental Congress. He was then chosen from a team of political philosophers to write the first draft of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Jefferson continued in politics, holding the following offices: Governor of Virginia, Vice President of the United States of America, and the 3rd President of the United States of America. Among all that he did, shaping a proper educational system was important to him. He died on July 4, 1826, in his home of Monticello. Jefferson left behind a legacy deeply rooted in the America that still stands today. Jefferson believed that citizens needed to be informed and educated for society and its government to be successful. Extract from Thomas Jefferson to Charles Yancey. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. He drafted a bill for the more general diffusion of knowledge, proposing that a free school be established every 5 to 6 square miles. Smith described Jefferson's opinion of who should be able to obtain this free education. Throughout most of his life, Jefferson favored providing 3 years of free education to all free children, rich and poor alike. By 1820, however, Jefferson had changed his mind. Only pauper children should receive free schooling. Those parents able to pay tuition should be required to do so. Jefferson believed that the fees of parents who could afford to pay would cover much of the cost of educating pauper children. Jefferson also believed education of children was the responsibility of their parents and guardians. Jefferson also called for a major decentralization of education. Smith explains how Jefferson did not want the federal government or the state governments to have power over all the education in a region or the country because he feared it. Instead, Jefferson believed that education should be divided into smaller districts to decide on school curriculum and protocol. One of Jefferson's contributions was his hope that all children would learn to work out their own greatest happiness by showing them that it does not depend on the condition of life in which chance has placed them, but is always the result of a good conscience, good health, occupation, and freedom in all just pursuits. Jefferson believed that no matter the circumstance, people could change their future by becoming educated. Jefferson prompted that to vote, one should have literacy. Jefferson's educational philosophies have played a large role in developing educational systems in the USA and throughout the world. Thomas Jefferson played a significant role in shaping the system of education we have today. In the United States of America and Canada, schools are organized into school districts. As well, Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Rights states, first, everyone has the right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Second, education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace. Parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. It can be argued that these aforementioned rights stem from and build upon what Jefferson believed and presented to the state of Virginia and the USA during his lifetime. From Jefferson's philosophies, the nation has instituted free public education, decentralized education, and instituted a republic educational system. Jefferson's philosophies of education not only influenced the educational system today, but have also influenced my personal view of teaching. Before my studies, I viewed the relationship between parents and teachers as a constant battle for the good of the students. Reading about the role that parents are meant to have in their children's education makes me want to strive to find common ground with parents when there is conflict. I will respect the desires and feelings of parents more as a teacher. Jefferson's beliefs have inspired me with a desire to teach all students about their capabilities to change the world which they live in. With an education, I believe that all students are able to have an influence on society. Jefferson was a passionate political philosopher with many strong views of the educational system. Though he was unsuccessful in his efforts to change the educational system the USA had during his lifetime, Jefferson encouraged many to take a closer look at how the education of citizens affected society. Many of his philosophies were adopted after he died. His influences over education today are significant and have been adapted by further philosophers who built on his beliefs and teachings. Jefferson has motivated me to strengthen my relationships with students and their parents as a teacher. His legacy certainly lives through the education of millions of persons throughout the world. Thank you.